What if I told you that Lewis Hamilton, a 41-year-old driver who didn't reach the podium a single time last season, just built the most technically significant Formula One car this decade? Not drove it. Built it. And what if I told you that while Ferrari have already solved the biggest problem at the Melbourne circuit, Red Bull are walking in practically blind? This is round 1 of the 2026 Formula One World Championship. And I've spent the last 3 days going through FIA regulation documents, driver interviews, paddock sources, and telemetry data from Bahrain, so you don't have to. And here's what I found. A secret, one that Hamilton himself confirmed on record, that changes everything about how you read this Ferrari car. I'll reveal it in full before this video is done. But first, stay with me, because halfway through, I'm going to show you a FIA rule change that the other channels completely missed. And that rule could decide the winner on Sunday. Let's go. Hit subscribe and the bell right now so you don't miss our Melbourne Race Week breakdowns. They're going to be different from anything else you'll find. If you haven't been following the 2026 regulation overhaul, here's everything that matters in 30 seconds. The FIA has completely rewritten the rulebook. These cars are lighter, minimum weight is now 768 kilograms, that's 30 kilograms less than last year. They're narrower. And the engine? It's running a dead-even 50-50 split between combustion power and electrical power, around 400 kilowatts from the ICE and 350 kilowatts from the hybrid battery motor. That's nearly 1,000 horsepower combined. Every team must now manage that electrical output in real time. Run the battery down to zero on a straight? You lose up to 134 horsepower instantly. Engineers call it superclipping, and it is the single biggest variable going into Melbourne. Now here's why Melbourne is especially brutal for this. According to BBC Sport, confirmed on X by @FormulaRacers_ just yesterday, there is a possibility that lifting and coasting, as well as clipping, could happen extensively in Australia. Substantial lift and coast might even be required in qualifying. Let that sink in. Teams managing energy in qualifying. Not just the race. That kind of constraint reshuffles everything. And on top of all that, the FIA has officially lowered the pit lane speed limit at Albert Park from 80 km per hour to 60. Confirmed by F1 Big Data on X. The reason? Cadillac, F1's brand new 11th team, has made the pit lane too crowded to run safely at the old limit. So we have the most complex power regulations in F1 history. A track that punishes mistakes harder than almost anywhere else on the calendar. And 11 teams, many of them overweight, underpowered, or simply not ready. This is the most unpredictable season opener since the original turbo hybrid era in 2014, when 7 cars retired. And I promise you, Sunday is going to feel exactly like that. Now, Hamilton's secret. Picture this. It's early 2025. Lewis Hamilton has just moved to Ferrari after 12 years at Mercedes. The car he inherits? A project he had zero input on. He finishes the entire 2025 season without a single podium. Not one. That kind of result can break a driver. Especially at 41. But here's what Hamilton did instead. He went to work. In an interview with Corriere della Sera, published March 3, literally 48 hours ago, Hamilton said this. I've been working on the 2026 Ferrari for 14 months. Compared to the previous one, which I found already designed and could change very little, this car has a bit of my DNA. And that excites me. Lewis Hamilton, March 3, 2026. 14 months. In the simulator, with the engineers, shaping the aerodynamic philosophy of the car from scratch. That is not a driver adapting to a team. That is a driver building a team. And the SF-26 shows it. Ferrari's 2026 car runs what the FIA calls active aerodynamics. In X mode on straights, the wing flaps open to reduce drag and increase top speed. On corner entry, Z mode slams them shut for maximum downforce. Ferrari's system activates in under 400 milliseconds and is rated for 300 activations per race. But here's the engineering detail nobody else is reporting. Credible paddock sources confirm Ferrari approved a steel alloy cylinder head for the 2026 engine. Heavier than aluminium, yes. But steel handles combustion pressures exceeding 250 bar, which is what the new 50-50 hybrid architecture demands. The payoff? Their radiators are reportedly 20% smaller than rivals. Less weight. Less drag. More available power, in exactly the phases of the lap that matter most. During the 5-day Bahrain preseason test, the SF-26 completed over 500 laps, the highest mileage of any team in the field. That is not a number you post while hiding performance. That is a reliability statement. The Hamilton secret isn't one innovation. It's the fact that for the first time, Ferrari has a car with 14 months of the most analytically obsessive driver on the grid baked into its DNA. Strategically, aerodynamically, psychologically. Now let's talk about Red Bull. Because this is the story that should genuinely shock you. Max Verstappen, four-time world champion, already knows his car is not good enough. He told reporters at Bahrain testing, and I quote, that the new 2026 regulations feel like Formula E on steroids. He is not wrong. The heavy reliance on battery management, lift and coast, and energy harvesting goes directly against Verstappen's instinctive, aggressive throttle style. And then Helmut Marko, Red Bull's motorsport advisor, did something extraordinary. He publicly ranked his own team fourth. In a post on X dated March 3, Marko's official hierarchy was: first place medal Mercedes, second place medal Ferrari, third place medal McLaren, small blue diamond Red Bull. His direct quote: Mercedes ran more fuel and didn't push the engine to full capacity. I believe Mercedes will lead. Ferrari and McLaren will follow. And just behind those three, Red Bull. Helmut Marko. Putting his own team fourth. That is not sandbag talk. That is crisis management. Let's go around the grid quickly. Because there are stories everywhere. McLaren, the defending champions, are overweight. Their primary mission in Melbourne is shedding an estimated 10 kilograms through material changes. That is not a competitive focus. That is survival mode. And at Formula Racers _ confirmed, most teams believe Mercedes and Ferrari were the teams to beat, not McLaren. Aston Martin, I've been covering this story all week and it keeps getting worse. Adrian Newey's hyper-aggressive chassis packaging is restricting Honda's power unit cooling pathways. The battery is reportedly bottlenecking at around 250 kilowatts during peak load. That's a 100 kilowatts deficit against the regulation target. One fan on a competitor channel absolutely nailed it in the comments. They wrote, "How much do you think Lawrence Stroll is regretting not keeping Mercedes as their engine supplier?" Honestly? A lot. This is McLaren Honda 2017 all over again. Alonso called that engine a GP2 engine on team radio. Aston Martin may be writing the same story, just with $1 billion budget. Cadillac, brand new. Running a Ferrari customer engine. Treating Melbourne as a pure reliability test. And there is a genuine chance, I mean this seriously, that they finish ahead of Aston Martin just by keeping the car alive. Drop a comment right now, is Cadillac going to outscore Aston Martin in round 1? Yes or no? I genuinely want to know what you think. And I'll read the best comments on the next video. Okay. I promised you a hidden factor that could flip the entire race. Here it is. It is not politics. It is not a protest. It is not even a new directive. It is something far more dangerous. It is a setup trap. Under Formula One's strict park firm regulations, once qualifying is finished, the car is effectively locked. Teams cannot freely change suspension geometry, ride height, cooling layouts, or aerodynamic configurations without starting from the pit lane. What you qualify with is what you race. No second chances. And right now, that rule is sitting like a time bomb over the grid at Australian Grand Prix. The forecast for race day at Albert Park Circuit shows a dramatic shift. Track temperatures are expected to jump from around 18 degrees Celsius during qualifying to nearly 25 degrees Celsius on race day. 7 degrees might not sound extreme. In modern Formula One, it changes everything. Hotter asphalt means higher tire degradation. It means different grip levels. It means altered aerodynamic balance. And in 2026, that effect is amplified. With the brand new power unit regulations coming and teams already pushing aggressive hybrid packaging concepts, cooling windows are razor thin. If a team trims too much bodywork for straight-line speed on a cool Saturday, they risk overheating on a hotter Sunday. If they raise ride height to protect the plank in cooler conditions, they may lose aerodynamic load when temperatures rise. Add to that the new generation tire constructions, which react far more aggressively to temperature swings, and the active aero systems that shift balance depending on airflow density, and suddenly this becomes a predictive war. It is no longer just about raw pace. It is about simulation accuracy. One wrong cooling estimate and the hybrid system starts losing efficiency. One incorrect aero map and the rear tires begin to overheat. One miscalculated setup decision and a front row car drops backwards within 10 laps. The teams most likely to master this window are the ones with the deepest simulation departments and the most accurate correlation between wind tunnel, CFD, and real-world data. That is why this temperature spike quietly favors structured, data-heavy organizations like Ferrari and Mercedes. Not because they are automatically faster, but because in a scenario like this, precision beats aggression. And on a circuit where overtaking is never straightforward, getting that prediction right on Saturday night could decide the entire race before the lights even go out. But listen, I'm not here to just hype Ferrari. That's what the clickbait channels do. Let me give you the genuine risks. Because this is F1 News Breakdown, and we deal in facts. Ferrari's active aero system has never completed a full race distance under competitive conditions. If that 400 millisecond wing mechanism misfires mid-race, on lap 30 of 58, Hamilton or Leclerc loses straight-line speed at exactly the wrong moment. Game over. Charles Leclerc himself, speaking to Autosprint on March 3, said this. It's too early to make predictions. Mercedes could have a slight advantage, and Red Bull also seems a little ahead. Charles Leclerc, March 3, 2026. Ferrari's own race driver is being cautious. He's not sandbagging. He's acknowledging that the 2026 testing picture, with everyone running different fuel loads and hiding their real pace, is the biggest guessing game the sport has ever seen. And there's one more wildcard. Albert Park's fast corners, particularly turns 11 and 12, are unforgiving to cars with nervous rear ends. The 2026 cars produce less downforce in high-speed sections than their predecessors. Every team is entering territory they don't fully understand yet. Right. Based on verified data, official quotes, and the picture we've built throughout this video, here is the F1 News Breakdown Round 1 prediction. P1, Charles Leclerc, Ferrari. 500-plus test laps. Steel alloy cylinder head. 14 months of Hamilton's engineering input. Leclerc has stood on the Albert Park podium 3 times. He knows this circuit. He knows this car better than anyone expected the driver's seat to know it. P2, George Russell, Mercedes. 3 cooling packages brought to Melbourne. The most analytical race management in the field. In a chaotic, energy-sensitive race? Russell turns chaos into points better than almost anyone on the grid. P3, Max Verstappen, Red Bull. Even in a 4th-placed car, Verstappen's tire preservation data is the most consistent in the sport. In a degradation-heavy race, which Melbourne absolutely will be, he finds the podium. Biggest surprise of the weekend? Cadillac scoring championship points on their debut. And if Aston Martin retire early, which is entirely plausible, it's not even that big an upset. Alright, here's your question. And I want real answers in the comments, not just hype. Ferrari or Mercedes, who wins Melbourne? Leclerc in the Ferrari with Hamilton's DNA baked in, or Russell in the Silver Arrow with 3 different cooling packages and the highest raw ICE output in the field? Drop your pick below. I'm going to pin the most confident and well-argued comment on this video. And when the race is done, I'm calling out everyone who got it right. Before you go, I need 20 seconds of your time. Every claim in this video came with a name, a number, or an official source. Hamilton's quote from Corriere della Sera. Leclerc's words from Autosprint. Marko's grid ranking direct from X. The FIA regulation. The BBC Sport Energy Management confirmation. No AI narration. No recycled thumbnails. No fake drama over statistics that don't check out. If you want the real F1 story, the one other channels won't give you because they're too busy chasing the thumbnail, subscribe right now. Hit the bell. You will not miss another development on what is shaping up to be the most unpredictable Formula 1 season in 15 years. And watch the video linked at the end. It covers exactly how the 2026 Aston Martin crisis unfolded, and why Adrian Newey's genius might have created his team's biggest enemy. I'll see you for qualifying coverage. Stay fast.